All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Hate Live Podcast, episode 44 for January 25th, 2018. This is part 2. So if you're watching this live on YouTube, well, on demand on YouTube, excuse me, and you did not check out part 1 first, you're going to want to. Tons of updates, including business updates, updates on my taxes, updates on my girlfriend moving in, lots of stuff, personal stuff that people wanted to know about. I shared all that information. Go, go check out part 1 before you watch part 2. But if you've already seen part 1 and you're ready for part 2, you're in the right place, ladies and gentlemen. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to start talking about my 10th anniversary as a content creator on the internet. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. 10 years. Can you believe it? Now, in reality, I've actually been uploading videos to YouTube for 11 years. So, don't tell anyone, okay? Don't tell anyone that it's really 11 years. No one wants to know that. Because really what happened was my Dark Side Filled channel, the original channel that I held on YouTube before I moved over to DSP Gaming, I originally created it and uploaded videos of a tournament, a video game tournament that I went to in the summer of 2017 called the Midwest Championships, which was held out in Chicago. And all I uploaded to the channel was that. That was it. I didn't upload anything else. So for a year, all that was there. Those videos barely got any views. You know, no one really cared. No one knew who I was on YouTube or nothing. No one cared about Midwest Championships. So, but it wasn't until the fall of 2018, all right, the fall of 2018 that I actually started. Boy, did I screw that one up? Let's try that again. The fall of 2008, 2018. The fall of 2008 is when I actually started uploading consistent gameplay videos to my Dark Side Filled channel. In fact, yes, I did attend the Midwest Championships that year as well, and those videos went up during the summer. But the very first gameplay video I ever uploaded that wasn't Street Fighter was actually Star Wars The Force Awakens. It was the segment where I was trying to use Star Killer's force powers to pull a Star Destroyer out of the sky. And it was hilarious because the on-screen prompts to tell you what to do are actually wrong during that segment. They say, oh, push left or right. And if you do that, it doesn't work. You're actually supposed to push the opposite. They actually glitched the game out and programmed it incorrectly. And it was actually funny because I was playing it and that was the case. And I remember people in the YouTube comments gave me tons of shit saying I just sucked at the game. But then later on, like 2-3 months later, Game Informer interviewed the game developer and said, so what happened with that segment? Why were the on-screen prompts wrong? And I was like, I knew it wasn't me, you know? Oh, it was Star Wars The Force Unleashed. I said The Force Awakens, my bad. It's Star Wars The Force Unleashed, part 1, the one that starred Star Killer. So that was the very first video that I had ever done as a gameplay video for YouTube. And then I remember after that, I did things like Dead Space Scary as Hell, Mercenaries 2, and the series that I did were not full playthroughs. They were actually limited segments of gameplay. By the way, recorded with my digital camera that wasn't even widescreen, so I had it crooked, aimed at the television to try to fit it into the frame of the 4x3 frame that the camera had. Just me doing commentary over gameplay, and a lot of the times I was drunk or I was just being silly or stupid. And, it was pretty interesting. It was definitely fun. And it was, something different I just decided to do on a whim. This was the time period when I had quit competitive Street Fighter. I had basically immersed myself into gaming culture again, tried to get back caught up with all of the different console games that had been out at the time. And I was actually inspired by people like the Angry Video Game Nerd and the Nostalgia Critic. These were guys who I knew didn't have extensive filmmaking history, didn't have extensive training, didn't have a budget, but they were able to just throw together really easily made videos and throw them on the internet. And back then, before the era where everything had to be overproduced and look amazingly great, people loved their stuff. It was like guerrilla filmography, grassroots filmography of just making funny shit versus having to now have high production budgets and teams of 20, 30 fucking people filming and editing videos and everything scripted. It wasn't like that back then. Back then, you could just be funny and genuinely have talent and put videos on the internet and be popular. And I remember seeing them and being inspired. Now, I didn't want to do scripted stuff like they did. I wanted to do on-the-fly commentary because my whole life, People had told me if I would be watching a movie and commentate over it, if I would watch a video game and commentate over it, in Street Fighter tournaments I would commentate. People loved my on-the-fly observational comedy. And I thought I could translate that into an entertaining YouTube video. And it blew up. I mean, from 2008 to 2010, I used shitty quality cameras. Then in 2010, I kind of upgraded to more professional quality stuff. It got so popular that when I lost my job in 2010, people started supporting me as the underdog of YouTube. And then I started, doing it for a living in 2011 when finally it was able to partner with the company and monetize your gameplay videos. It had not been possible up until late 2010, early 2011 to even do that on YouTube. And the rest is history. Blew up 2011, 2012. I became virally popular on YouTube. Every game I played got ridiculous amounts of views. Of course, then, as you know, guys, things changed over the years and people all of a sudden started getting a negative association with me. But anyway, 10 years, all right, 10 years of me being a content creator for the internet, right? Pretty awesome, right? Pretty damned awesome. And I'm so incredibly grateful for 10 years. Now, keep in mind, there's been ups and downs. There have been times when I was hanging out with my friends and I was able to afford going to crazy gaming conventions and things were amazingly positive and everything was great. There were times when I had financial difficulties because of negative shit done to me because of YouTube changing their algorithms, me being able to pay my bills, and obviously breaking up with my ex-girlfriend and all that kind of shit. There have been low lows. There's been high highs and low lows. It has been one hell of a ride the past 10 years. If you would ask me at any point in my life until I started on YouTube, if my life would ever be as crazy as it was the past 10 years, I would say, fuck no. Are you nuts? It's been nuts, man. Seriously. And it's hilarious because even to this day, people ask me, Phil, can you predict where you'll be in 5 years? Fuck no. I have no idea. Who knows what's going to happen? This is such a wild ride doing this kind of thing on the internet for a living. It really has been insane. But again, your support has made it all possible, all right? So this is the 10th year of me doing video gaming content on the internet for you guys. What do I have in store for you, okay? First of all, right now I'm wearing a shirt from my Teespring shop. I don't know if you guys, how well you could see it. It's the DSP skull design that's been, it says established 2008, by the way, if you don't see right there, right? Obviously, you can check this out and a bunch of other merch out at my Teespring shop, which is why the plug is there. But there's going to be a 10th anniversary line of product launching on my Teespring shop starting in the spring. It's going to be really cool logos and things all, hinging around 10 years of being a content creator. You're going to see sayings and memes and things that have been a big part of my content over the years featured in this line of merchandise. It's going to be pretty good, and I hope that you guys are excited, especially some people have said, man, I've been wanting to buy something from Phil's shop, but I heard there's this 10th anniversary line of product coming out. Yeah, it's going to be hitting within the next couple of months, okay? And yes, Golden Coach, you can get this shirt on my Teespring. It's just not on the main page. And my Teespring has like 4 or 5 pages of stuff. You just got to keep going because this was one of the original shirts. So it's probably on a later page, I would assume. But yes, this shirt is still available on my Teespring. So that being said, folks, that's one thing that's going to be pretty cool. All right, that's one thing. Number 2, in regard to events that I want to hold, all right, my idea is that this year for the downtime, I'm going to be doing retro throwback playthroughs to some of the biggest things I've ever done on my YouTube channels. So for example, one of the biggest playthroughs I ever did that got me mainstream viral popularity on YouTube, I think you guys are going to know exactly what I'm going to say, Heavy Rain. That was a game that was 100% narrative based with little quick time events in between. Your choices actually changed the plot line. It was a crazy murder mystery. I still remember the 3 days that I played that game. I went to work, came back home from work, popped the game in and played it for like 2-3 hours a night. That was so much fun. It was like an interactive, digestive murder mystery novel, but you're playing a part of it. You know what I mean? And every night, at the end of the night, I would do a special vlog to let you guys know what I thought about the game up to that point, who I was suspecting was the murderer and stuff like that. And the big finale. Dude, those YouTube videos blew the fuck up to the point where, like, that's what got a lot of people watching my stuff. I want to do a throwback playthrough as a special thing this summer. I will be replaying Heavy Rain. Now, I haven't played it since it was new. So this is going to be fun for me to read. Now, obviously, we all know who the killer is, but it'll be fun to replay it and maybe mess around a little bit with the stuff in the game. I definitely want to replay that game. So that's going to be one retro playthrough. that I'm going to be doing, a big throwback. One thing I'm definitely doing this summer is something people have asked me for years. I'm going to be doing a redemption run of Bloodborne. This was a game from 3 years ago, right? That when it was new, I played it. But, fair enough, I grinded like crazy in order to keep playing it. I did not legitimately beat it in regards to me just playing it from start to finish like I've done with some other Dark Souls games. Instead, I grinded like crazy in order to maintain a level limit so I could basically be over-leveled for certain fights. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to replay the game from start to finish without grinding. So that way it's more of a challenge. In addition, I will be playing the Old Hunters DLC, which when it released, I basically flubbed my way through it, got to, played on New Game Plus, which I shouldn't have done, got to Ludwig, got my ass handed to me, and quit and said, I'm never playing this again. I'm going to be playing it legitimately at a regular level, not New Game Plus, trying to play through that DLC on the fly while I'm playing the actual game, okay? So that's going to be this summer. I think that's going to be a really fun playthrough. People are going to come out in droves to see me do that again because my original playthrough was good. This is going to be even better, all right? Now, in addition to that, I'm getting other ideas, all right? I'm getting other ideas. One idea that I have is to actually play a game from my childhood, a game that I grew up with, that I absolutely love, and do an ongoing playthrough of it over the course of the summer. Now, it depends on what game it is, how long this would be. One game that I really would like to play is possibly Final Fantasy IV. This is one of my favorite Final Fantasy games of all time, and replaying that game from start to finish, since I know everything about it, it would be more of a walkthrough than a playthrough, because I'd actually be able to show you the ins and outs of the gaming engine, and how to make the characters way better, and, it would be a really fun playthrough, in my opinion, okay? Or it could be there's other RPGs I've played over the years, like the Suikoden series, stuff like that I really like to play and do like a game from back in the past when games I grew up with. Those are some of the playthroughs that end up being the best. I haven't done a playthrough like that since Blue Dragon, and that was 3-4 years ago. So I definitely want to do something like that maybe in the summer. I don't know. We'll see. But it may be that, it may not be. We'll see. All right. I want to do something like that during the downtime of the summer. The other suggestions that I've been getting is either do a throwback playthrough of a Grand Theft Auto game, which has been destroyed on YouTube. I actually mentioned this in part 1 of the podcast, is that basically my original Grand Theft Auto playthroughs of Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas have been ruined on YouTube due to Content ID, because I played those with copywritten music in them. Literally, the videos are blocked, they're muted, they sound like shit, they're terrible. Those playthroughs have been ruined. So what I would like to do is replay one of those games possibly this summer. Only what I'm going to do is replay the updated versions. They've come out for modern consoles, right? They were remastered in HD. But what I'm going to have to do is turn off the music. I know that sucks, but I'm just going to have to do it because there's no way that I would be able to play those games with the copywritten music in them. They'd just be destroyed again. So I'm debating replaying one of those. Not all of them. One of those games. I'm not sure which one, all right? But we'll see what happens when we get to the summer, what people want to see. And then another idea I have is to replay Mass Effect 2, which if you actually look at all of my Mass Effect playthroughs, 1, 2, and 3, I'd probably say, and by the way, I didn't mention Andromeda. From the original Mass Effect trilogy, I'd probably say my Mass Effect 2 playthrough is the best one, all right? That was a game, I played it at launch. I did all of the content, all of the side missions, everything in it. I absolutely love the game, and I actually think Mass Effect 2 is the best game in the Mass Effect series. I really believe that. The difference here would be when I play it, I will be a renegade femshep. So completely different from the first playthrough where I was the Paragon male shepherd. I'll be a renegade, female shepherd who's just kicking everyone's fucking ass left and right. I think that would be really awesome, okay? So basically, this summer, during downtime, I'm going to be doing amazing amounts of retro stuff, me replaying these games from my past that are synonymous with the great stuff that I've done over the years, plus tying that in with maybe a retro playthrough of a game that I've never done before, like Final Fantasy IV, or maybe something else, okay? That's kind of how I feel would be an amazing way to expose people, all right, to content that possibly you've never seen before. A lot of people never saw my original Heavy Rain playthrough, but they're fans of mine now. A lot of people never saw me play the Grand Theft Auto games, but they're fans of mine now. So now you get immersed with the kind of stuff I used to do, only on a modern basis with the live streaming integrated and everything. I think it could be really awesome. Really, seriously. So let's see. The thing is, we've got to see what happens this summer. Right now, we have 0 game releases announced for the summer. So if that's the case, June, July, and August, 3 entire months where I have time to do all those projects, could be one of the best summers I've ever done in history. Like, it could literally be a blow up of, wow, people coming back who have never seen Phil in years, come back to watch him play stuff, and I think it could be amazing. But let's see what happens. Let's play it by ear. You know, we don't know right now what's coming out in the summer, but that's kind of the 10th anniversary kind of stuff that I'm planning to do. And then at the end of this year, as a special celebratory thing, I'm thinking of doing some special countdowns. Like, for example, Darkside Phil's personal top 10 favorite playthroughs that he's done in the past 10 years. You know, how awesome would that be? To be count down some of the games that I really have felt have some of been the most amazing, fun things I've ever been able to do with you guys over the years, right? That would be some of the stuff that I'd probably do near the end of the year. So that's kind of how I'm thinking of celebrating this big 10-year anniversary, and I hope you guys are excited for that, right? Sounds like a good idea, or what do you think? I'm curious. A lot of people in the stream are saying that it sounds like really good ideas, so. Okay, so now, before I move on to gaming news, which will be the next segment, what I'm going to do is some shout-outs, because a lot of people have been cheering, subbing, and tipping, so let's do that. Scroll down here. Shout-out to Big Boy Dumper, who did a 25-bit cheer and said he had to put up with an entire semester of Virginia Woolf, so he's entitled to comment. He won't let up on Virginia Woolf for some reason. If you don't know, because you're watching this on YouTube, he insulted her with a cheer earlier, and I was like, come on, man. Mr. Papavera did a 25-bit cheer. He said, 10 years of gameplay videos. That's very impressive. You've been very consistent. Not a lot of people can make that claim today. In fact, Mr. Papavera, I'm almost positive. I mean, there's no way I could really verify this. I'm almost positive I'm the most prolific YouTuber in history. Meaning, if you look at the amount of content that I've put out in 10 years, I've more consistently uploaded more videos and more by-the-minute content than any individual human on the planet. Now, I'm sure there's people who are teams of people who've done that, but that's a team of people. I'm talking one individual uploading things to YouTube. I'm almost positive in the 10 years that I've done it, I'm the most prolific YouTuber. I don't know if there's anywhere to prove that, you know what I mean? Get Guinness Book of World Records involved, but I'm pretty sure that that's the case. The Alpha 1550 did a 100-bit cheer. Thank you very much, The Alpha, for your 100-bit cheer. I appreciate that. Big Boy Dumper did a 25-bit cheer. It says, original Grand Theft Auto 3 and Vice City would be fun. Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes. Very rare to find a playthrough of that anywhere. Well, I don't know what that has to do with retro stuff. I never played Twin Snakes. Anyway, whoa. Thank you to Fallen1570, who just did a 1501-bit cheer to become the cheerleader for today's stream and said, Retro Gaming 2018 Kupo. Thank you very much for that cheer. And yeah, I think people would really enjoy a retro summer where I play some of the most famous playthroughs I've ever done, a modernized time with the live streaming integration and everything. It could be a totally new, different experience. Nick just tipped me $1 and says, since you're not doing Project 7, no shit, would you do a playthrough of Final Fantasy VII and call the series Nostalgia Destroy? There's no point. Here's the thing. Originally, I was going to play Final Fantasy VII and rip it a new one because I don't like that game. I think that game is way overhyped. It's not a great Final Fantasy game. It was a big deflating game for me after playing Final Fantasy 2 and 3, which were called 2 and 3 in the US, but are really 4 and 6. To play 7, I thought 7 was terrible compared to those two games. I'm just being real with you, okay? But that being said, the whole idea of Project 7 was me to play that game and rip it a new asshole. I don't need to do that anymore because, number one, the whole idea, I don't do that stuff. I'm not going to do edited content and stuff like that for YouTube. It's not worth it because YouTube fell apart, all right? And number two, Final Fantasy VII is being remade, so I'll just play the remake. No, I'm not going to go back and do an idea from 2009 anymore. That's in the past, Nick. It's time to fucking move on. Big Boy Dumper did a 25-bit cheer and says, your heaven is being a femme chef. Think cooking with the king in a dress and wit. All right. Moving on. Sarah Teasdale's #1 fan just tipped me $5 and said, Virginia Woolf is a great author. I recommend The Duchess and the Jeweler. Good stream, by the way, my man. Thank you for the $5 tip. I appreciate that. Use the Best just did a 500-bit cheer and says, I've been here since the very beginning. Here's hoping for many more to come. Thank you very much for your support. Use the best. Appreciate the cheer. Big Boy Dumper did another 25-bit cheer and says, Phil, it's been an awesome run. Keep it going. Thank you for the positivity, Big Boy. And holy crap, the Ravenger just did a 5,000-bit cheer. Boom. You are now obviously officially the cheerleader for today's stream. And he says, get him out of here. It sounds like Vince McMahon. Get him out of here. So he is now the cheerleader. He just kicked them right in the butt, kicked everyone else out of there. Thank you very much, everyone, so far today for your overwhelmingly positive support. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. On to the next segment, folks. Let me get the stream chat back up here. All right, on to the next segment. The next segment is, what is it? It is, ladies and gentlemen, gaming news. Let's talk a little bit about gaming news. I've got 3 different stories related to that, and then I actually have a totally non-gaming related story that I want to cover, okay? So, first of all, the big story that came out in the last week that everyone talked about and everyone had an opinion on. Some people liked it, some people hated it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about it. The Nintendo Labo. I think it's Labo. It's not Labo, is it? I hope it wouldn't be Labo, because then it would sound like labia. And now you're like, the Nintendo labia. Nintendo. All right, no. So the Nintendo Labo, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about it. It's lame-o. PC Gamer Note says, no, it's lame-o. Oh, Garbo. Wow, I love this. People in the stream chat thinking stuff up. All right, let's talk about it. If you don't know what this is, if you live under a rock and you haven't heard about it yet, what it is, in April, supposed to be April 20th, I believe. So, smoke weed every day, 420. Nintendo will be releasing, I'm not exaggerating, I'm not making this up, a piece of software, $70 it's going to cost. This piece of software will be called the Nintendo Labo. What this software will do, it will be a special interactive software, which we know Nintendo's great with their motion controls and gimmicks, right? So we know what to expect, what's coming up here. It's for the Nintendo Switch, okay? You need a Switch to use this. And what it's going to do, all right, is going to be cardboard cutouts that you print and you cut out and you fold into attachments and or accessories for your Nintendo Switch to play mini games. I'm going to repeat myself. I didn't stutter. I didn't make that up. Cardboard cutouts that you will print out on a piece of cardboard, cut it out with scissors, or pop it out if it's perforated, if it's the pre-made ones that you bought, fold them up to become some kind of accessories for your Nintendo Switch, and then either attach it physically to the Switch or put the Joy-Cons into the cardboard, somehow interacting with the Switch to play a series of mini games. So, among some of the things that I actually remember from seeing this trailer for the by the way, definitely check out the trailer, you'll get a huge laugh, all right? Check it out. A fishing rod that actually extends, and you pretend you're fishing with it, and you do virtual fishing with your Switch screen in front of you. A piano, a cardboard piano that you build, and you put your Switch into it, and you read the musical off of it, and as you play the cardboard, the Switch picks up that you're playing the cardboard and plays the music out of the Switch. There was one that I don't know what it was. It was like you take the 2 Joy-Cons and you put it into 2 like levers or handles, and it's some kind of a weird interactive game, all right? So for the most part, all right, for the most part, oh, by the way, Black Mage C-Type says Labo is short for laboratory, thinking lab-o. So it is pronounced Labo, like laboratory, okay? Okay. I've seen 2 completely different reactions to the announcement of this thing, all right? The first is, wow, this is interesting and creative. Obviously, we've never had a gaming system with, a wide variety of peripherals made for it that are going to be relatively inexpensive when you really think about it. If you think about the history of Nintendo, all right, let's be real here. Nintendo always traditionally has had a ridiculous shitload of accessories that you use a few times and then they're worthless. Remember, for those who are older, as old as me, for the NES, oh my God, did they have a ton of accessories for the NES. You had the power pad, which you put on the ground and it looked basically like Twister, but it was like a bunch of dots. And what you would do is when you play certain games, you would step on the dots to move in the game. Very few games ever utilized it. So you bought the thing, and then you used it 5 times ever, and then you threw it out. What else were you going to do with it? The ridiculous amount of different joysticks and things they had over the years for the NES console or Nintendo consoles, right? I remember for SNES, I had the Super Scope, which was a giant fucking bazooka thing that you put on your shoulder and you fire, and there was like 10 games total that ever used the damn thing, and half of them weren't very great, so the thing was a waste of money. But that's what I mean. Like, Nintendo is always infamous for having a wide variety of accessories that you have to buy with the console, and then they don't get a lot of use. At least in this regard, Nintendo's saying you can make a shitload of accessories, but they're all printed on cardboard. So you're really not going to spend a ton of money at all. It's all going to be just inexpensive accessories you make to play fun mini games with your Switch. Now, some people have actually countered this as well and said it's going to be great for educational purposes. What if you want to teach your kids educational stuff and you want to give them like different accessories and stuff? Like I said, the piano. Imagine if a kid learned to actually play a real piano with the Switch cardboard piano. You don't even have to own a real friggin' piano. You know what I mean? Could be pretty cool. I mean, the concept itself of being able to have unlimited amounts of accessories for a gaming console that are relatively inexpensive, I get that, and that makes sense. And again, if this is geared towards kids, and kids don't have to say, Mommy, Daddy, go buy me an $80 peripheral that I'll use twice and then it goes in the fucking trash can. You know what I mean? It could make sense, and it could be actually something revolutionary and something creative that Nintendo has done that makes sense. All right. Now, the flip side of all of this, which, I mean, I'll be very honest with all of you. I tend to be on this flip side of it. I'm more of the skeptical school of thought. All right. Is what the fuck is Nintendo thinking? Like, cardboard? So, cardboard. You want me to play with cardboard. All right. Now, okay. Number one, people, it's for kids. That's what everyone's going to say. Which I counter and I say, well, if you actually watch the trailer for this thing, more than half the people using it are not kids. And let's face it, folks, yes, a lot of kids probably begged their parents for a Nintendo Switch last Christmas and got it, making it the best-selling console right now on the market. However, let's be realists here and realize that a lot of Nintendo fanboys are not kids. They're adults. The early adopters who ran out and made the Switch so scarce to begin with weren't kids. They were adults who ran out and bought it, and they fucking buy everything Nintendo, and you know they're going to run out and buy the Nintendo Labo. So, oh, it's just for kids? I call bullshit on that 100%. We very well know that at least half the market, if not more, are grown adults who are going to run out and buy this fucking thing and be playing with cardboard, all right? That's number one. I just fucking spilled water all over my foot. God damn it. Fuck. My whole leg is soaked. I overfilled my mug. Anyway, shit. Okay. Now, here's really my criticism. My criticism of this is not that it's cardboard. I could care less. If it's actually a functional accessory of the Switch, that's fine. I'm okay with that. My question is, number one, how much is this cardboard going to cost? Because the game itself costs $70 for the software. And apparently it's going to come with a pack of cardboard. All right, it's going to come with a package that you can pre-made stuff. But from what I'm to understand, there's going to be updates and there's going to be expansions to this where you download the schematics yourself and you print it. Guess what? The vast majority of people don't have a cardboard printer that's going to print on these big pieces of cardboard to be popping out and folding and creating. So how much is it going to be when you go buy the Labo expansion later this year, Labo, whatever it's called, Labo, that it's going to cost money for how much you're going to be paying for cardboard in the future? Is it going to be $20 per cardboard expansion? You know what I mean? To go to the store and buy these pre-printed cardboard for the next expansion for your Nintendo Labo or whatever it is. We don't know, right? We don't know how that's going to go. Number two, and this is really my major criticism of the Nintendo Labo, whatever the hell it's called. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, when I was 4 years old or 5 years old, I played with a thing called a box. Okay? My parents would buy new stuff for the house, a new air conditioner, something that, my mother would buy, you get it, ships to the house in this nice big cardboard box. and I would cut it up with scissors, and I would color over it. I would make a fort. Before I ever owned the cat, which I've talked about over the years, Eternia, one of the best, presents my parents ever bought me. Before my parents bought me this Eternia playset for the He-Man action figures that I played with as a kid, I had to pretend. So I had cardboard boxes that I would cut up and I would design, and they would be, oh, look, I made armor for myself. I made a cardboard sword. I built a castle that my action figures play on. It's called imagination. It's what kids are good at. It's what kids need to be creative and need to actually explore, because they are formulating in their heads the things that are going to become their future selves, all right? Kids need to go physically play outside because they need to work their bodies so they can grow up strong. They need to think creatively for themselves so when they grow up, they can have creative ideas as adults. If children literally are just handed everything that they ever play with as a child, you're actually stunting their creative growth. That's the truth. Any professional will tell you this. You are stunting your child's intelligence growth if you just hand them something to play with that is already pre-done. They need to imagine. They need to be creative for themselves. They need to have those things happen to actually have a development of the brain at a young age. So for example, folks, all right, for example, when I was a kid creating these forts and everything, that was all creative process. If I was 5 years old and my parents bought me the Nintendo Switch and then bought me the Nintendo Labo and said, Phil, here, you can print out your own fort and build it. How is that being creative? It's already been done for you, right? So all that creativity that would have been in my mind, I want to color it this way and I want to do it this way and I want it to look like this, is completely lost because you now have a predetermined thing that you make with the cardboard, okay? It's actually, in my opinion, it's a stupid idea. Like, what Nintendo was basically saying is your kids are too dumb to think imaginatively for themselves. So we created a predetermined set of accessories and fun things for them to play with because they were too stupid to fucking make it up with cardboard themselves, right? That's so dumb, in my opinion. Like, and the other thing, the other half factor of this, $70 for this piece of software. Plus, you're going to eventually have to buy more cardboard and find a way to print it out yourself, probably going to like a print shop or whatever, to constantly be printing out these Labo schematics or whatever, so that they can be constantly be made for this system or this software as it gets updated. So $70, well, first of all, $300 initial investment to get the Nintendo Switch, $70 investment for the software plus the initial cardboard cutouts, and then an unlimited amount of additional investments needed for expansions and to constantly be printing out cardboard for this fucking thing. Or you could just give your fucking kid a box and say, here's a box, here's scissors and some crayons, go fucking play with it and be imaginative for yourself. Guess how much that costs? $0. Zero. $370 initial investment plus initial revenue or continuous revenue stream for printing, $0. See what I mean? And that's what I mean, like, the whole idea. I understand what Nintendo's trying to do. What they're trying to do is get a market, right? Let's get the younger kids. Let's get the kids who they don't, maybe they'll play the Wii once and then they put it down, and they go off and do other stuff. No, we want them to actually be having the physical interaction now where they're casting a line and they're playing a piano and they're swinging swords and shit around, hitting each other with our console, because that's $370 right there from every kid in America and every kid in Japan and every kid worldwide that we can make for Nintendo and line our pockets with fucking money. I get it. I think it's actually immoral. I think it's detrimental to the development of our children. I don't think that a 5-year-old should be playing the Switch with the Nintendo Labo and doing that shit. They should be outside playing games, working their bodies, becoming physically fit. They should be using their imaginations to play pretend and making shit out of cardboard for themselves, which is fucking free, and not be relying on Nintendo to charge $370 in order to fucking tell us what we're supposed to be making with cardboard. The whole thing is ludicrous. It's dumb as fuck. It doesn't make any logical sense from someone who thinks about this logically. If you take your fanboy glasses off for a second, you look at it, you're like, huh? So you're going to tell me what my kids should be doing creatively. My kid's not smart enough to figure it out for themselves, to play pretend and play imagine with cardboard. You're going to give them a schematic of what to fucking do. Like, talk about making a world that's not fun, right? You know what I mean? I just don't get it. I don't understand how people are defending this fucking thing. I really don't. And maybe it's just me, And maybe I'm not able to see the perspective of these other people, but, you know, for me, when I was growing up, being an imaginative person was a big part, again, of my development and being able to become a creative person and a fun person. You know, I will tell you, my on-the-fly commentary and to be able to say funny things and do funny things and react to stuff is because when I was a kid, I developed that as a kid. Now, if you're telling the kid all you do is play this game and you have to live by the confines of the game and the cardboard can only become an accessory for the game, you know what I mean? You're stunted them. You've actually intellectually stunted that child. And now every kid sees a piece of cardboard and says, oh, that could be a fishing rod, or that could be a castle, or that could be a sword. Like, well, no, that cardboard could be anything. But in my Labo, it could either be a fishing rod, or it could be a castle, or it could be a sword. You see what I mean? So I just don't understand it. I just don't. It blows my mind. And I'm sorry, some people, oh, Phil, you're overthinking it. And, you know, sorry, I'm trying to be responsible here. I really feel this actually could hurt children. Where you're going to have kids who literally will just be playing video games all fucking day and will never actually go out and do the things they're supposed to do creatively to become, you know, fully developed individuals. And, you know, we already have an epidemic of kids who are on smartphones all day and kids who are on iPads all day and kids that are already doing too much digital shit. Now you're just giving them another fucking excuse to do something with video games all day instead of actually going out there and developing. I mean, I don't get it. I seriously don't get it. And maybe that's me. Now, you guys may have a completely different opinion, and that's okay. Obviously, I'd like to hear that. I'm sure people will be leaving comments on this video on YouTube or whatever. It blows my mind. You know what I mean? And I just don't get it. I seriously don't get it. The other thing, and this has to be said too, it's cardboard, folks. It's fucking cardboard. Cardboard's not durable. All it's gonna take. Right? You spend $70, you got the schematic, it's all printed out, the kid builds the fishing rod, and day one, the sister walks in and spills fucking water on it. Well, no more fishing rod. Well, guess what? Now you gotta go to a print shop to go get this schematic and print out the next fishing rod for you to make. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it's durable, you know, yes, something, so it should be said, going out and spending $60 for a fishing rod accessory you play for 2 games is a waste of money. But at least it stays intact. Right? These are kids we're talking about. These aren't responsible adults who are going to cherish the things and they're going to swing them around, whack them against shit. The cardboard's going to fall apart within a fucking day. So, I don't understand. You know what I mean? Alright, anyway, that's my opinion on the Nintendo Labo, however the fuck you say it. I don't know. It looks like some people were cheering and responding to it, so let's go ahead and do that. Nick to tip me $1 says the actual games for it are good. I don't have a problem with the cardboard attachments, but if it's like 1-2 Switch where the gameplay is just is the cardboard and they sell it as a game, then that's fucking stupid. Yeah, apparently 1-2 Switch was a virtual duel with your hands, but you've paid money for software even though you're just doing a virtual duel with your hands. That's not a video game. You know what I mean? And I agree with Nick. If it's just the cardboard is really what you paid for, and you paid $70 for a bunch of cardboard and the software is minimal, that's really stupid. Sens fan did a 50-bit cheer and says the Power Glove remastered for the Switch. Coverus did a 25-bit cheer and he says something about Watch Mojo. I don't know. Big Boy Dumper did a 25-bit cheer. He says Phil snuck around in a box in real life. Not so good at it in games though. Papa Lou did a 25-bit cheer and said something about being creepy and I'm not going to read it. Big Boy Dumper did a 25-bit cheer. He says some kids like me weren't even allowed to play with scissors. Big Boy Dumper did another 25-bit cheer. He says, my young cousin already has an iPhone and a Nintendo DS, and his parents are too old to play with them. I expect him to be on Ritalin soon. It's fucking depressing. Then he did another cheer. He says, you are not overthinking this. Kids and adolescents are being fucked from having too much tech. Lots of other things are wrong in society, and that's one of them. And then I got an anonymous $1 tip on the flip side and said, I disagree. I don't think that the Labo is going to stifle creativity. That's asinine. I think it's going to spark creativity and inspire kids to create new things. That's how 99% of creators get started. Even you had inspiration for your YouTube channel. But the point is, the Labo doesn't inspire you to create new things with the cardboard. It gives you pre-made things to punch out yourself and then use with the pre-established software. It's not like, oh, what do you want to play today? I want to play with swords. Okay, you know, let's design a sword together. No, here's the sword. Do it. It's already made for you. Just punch it out and fold it and then play the game. That's the point I'm making. If you have a box and I want to play with swords, you draw the sword, you design it yourself, you cut it out. That's you creatively making the sword, and that's not what the Labo is, at least from what I'm to understand from what I saw in that ad. It's the complete and polar opposite. It's Nintendo telling you, here's what you play with, versus you creatively making it yourself. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm sure we're going to get more information on this thing as it gets closer to its April release date, but at least initially that's what I've seen, okay? Okay. Next story, ladies and gentlemen. Microsoft has announced that their Game Pass promotion, which has been running for a while, if you're aware, $10 a month, and you get unlimited access to all Microsoft exclusive titles, like, for example, the Gears of War franchise, the Halo franchise, those Microsoft Studios games you get access to for $10 a month. And also, they pick and choose certain games that you can play on Microsoft consoles every month for this $10 a month subscription, is now expanding to now cover all new Microsoft Studios new releases, including the upcoming titles like Sea of Thieves, okay? So, let's say, for example, you're a fan of the Forza franchise. You're a fan, you want to try Sea of Thieves when it comes out, or anything, again, Halo, Gears of War, all these Microsoft, Fable. There's now rumor there's a new Fable game that's in development, right? If you spend $10 a month, you will have unlimited access to all of those games. Microsoft has confirmed it. If you do this Microsoft Game Pass, you don't have to buy Sea of Thieves for $60. You can play it for $10 a month, unlimited. Okay? It's a no-brainer for someone like me. Like, yes, of course I want to try Sea of Thieves. And spending $60 up front for a game that I may play once or twice and hate, that's a big investment. But paying $10 a month, and now I get to play Sea of Thieves unlimited, and if I like it, great, just spend $10 a month to keep playing it. Why wouldn't I do that? And just think of it this way. In 1 year, how many Microsoft Studios games do I play? Maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe more, okay? Pay for the Game Pass for the months that I want for the games that I'm going to play. If there's an extended period of months with no Microsoft games coming out, cancel the Game Pass. And then when a new one's coming out, renew the Game Pass, right? So, a lot of people have, and by the way, unlike that stupid those other thing, like, for example, there is a PlayStation version of this. I think it's called PS Now, but that you have to live stream the game. You don't actually own the game or keep it on. You have to stream the game, causing buffering and issues. Apparently with Game Pass, no, you actually download the whole game. It's like you bought the game digitally, and you retain the digital rights to use it infinitely as long as you pay $10 a month. Okay, so for me, sounds amazing. But what I gotta ask, and this is me being real honest with everyone, what is Microsoft getting out of this? Is Microsoft, or at least are the Microsoft Game Studios exclusive developed games doing so poorly with retail sales? You know what I mean? Are so few people actually buying these at this point that Microsoft actually thinks they're going to make more money by only charging $10 a month than charging $60 per game? Maybe that's the case. Maybe we don't know, because Microsoft actually does not release numbers like they used to. They never released sales numbers for the Xbox One. You know what I mean? They're hiding their performance when it comes to video games this console generation. Probably because they're embarrassed that, PlayStation is outperforming them so much. So that being said, I'm blown away by that this is going to be the ongoing practice. And by the way, I know someone's saying it's $20 per month. No, it's not. It's $10. I looked it up online. It's $10 per month, $9.99. Okay, I'm sure there's tax and everything, but it's $9.99 per month, at least in the United States. So, I'm seriously I'm confused. Oh, PS Now is $20 per month. Oh my God, that's way overpriced. $20 per month for a streaming gaming service, that's way too much money. For me, I seriously can't think of a negative. Can anyone think of a negative of paying $10 per month to get access to these games? Like, for example, Sea of Thieves, which, as we're about to talk about, because we're going to go through the gaming schedule update in just a moment. Sea of Thieves is coming out in March. I could spend $60 to own the game infinitely, or I could spend $10 and play it that month, see if I like it, and if I still like it, continue to pay $10 a month to play it until I feel that its life is dead. Or at all, if I feel like it, I could drop the $60 to own it infinitely. Why would I spend $60 up front You know what? It almost feels like a game rental service. It's like $10 a month. Get unlimited Microsoft titles. Play them until you're ready to buy them, or if you're not, just stop paying the money. Like, right? I don't get it. What would be the negative? Does anyone know? I seriously can't think of a negative. So yeah, seriously, 100%. Come March, I'm joining this Microsoft Game Pass. And maybe what we'll do together is we can go on my Xbox One together for a special stream and explore what games are actually available for it, right? And try a few of them out and see how they run. And, you know, if the service is great, recommend it to everyone. I think this is something I'm doing in March. Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? You'd be an idiot to spend $60 on these games if you're going to play them, right? So there you go. Okay, so there you go. That's the news story. The next news story I want to cover is obviously the big news story that a lot of people who use YouTube have been talking about this past week. YouTube is changing, ladies and gentlemen, to basically make it so that smaller channels cannot have ads anymore. I don't know how many of you have heard this. It's a big announcement. It was about a week ago. The whole internet went abuzz with it. I saved my opinions on it basically until this podcast. All right, so what does this mean? What it means is that brand new YouTube channels cannot get advertisements anymore. You have to have certain criteria that you have to establish and qualify for in order to actually have, ads on your videos on YouTube. All right. I believe the criteria is number one, you need to have 1,000 subscribers. I think that's what it was. Number two, you need to have 4,000 hours watched on your channel. And I forget what the third criteria is. There's a third one that is slipping my mind right now. I forgot to write it down. All right. So that being said, 1,000 subs and 4,000 hours a month viewed are the criteria. Okay, someone just confirmed it. Okay, for someone like me, even on my vlogging channel, that's not a big deal. For example, this video is going to be what? How long is this video? 40, 50 minutes, an hour per part. This video will probably get 2, 3, 4,000 views on it. Just based off of this podcast, if you do the math, I may end up getting the 4,000 hours a month that I need for this vlogging channel to qualify to be monetized on YouTube. Plus, it has over 30,000 subscribers. This channel qualifies no problem for YouTube's program. But imagine if you're an up-and-coming channel. By the way, it's not 4,000 hours a month. It's 4,000 hours a year. I misspoke. I'm sorry, guys. It's 4,000 hours a year. 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours of viewing time a year. Okay? So established channels are not going to have any problems with this at all. Anyone who has any kind of viewership that gets thousands of views, you're not going to have an issue. It's going to be more the little guy, the up-and-comer, who's trying to make a new channel on YouTube, or it's going to be a channel that maybe is just a small channel, hasn't gotten a lot of viewership over the years, but doesn't mean that that content creator hasn't been dedicated. Maybe they have hundreds of viewers. Maybe they have 1,000 viewers, right? Maybe they just have under the 1,000 subs that are required or something like that. Okay, it's 10,000 total views, 4,000 hours of viewing time a year, and 1,000 overall subs. That's the actual solid criteria. Thank you for Stream Chat for clearing that up, okay? So that being said, a lot of people are freaking out. I mean, there are thousands of people on YouTube who create content who don't have these criteria. And there are people who maybe abided by, for example, they have a YouTube channel that makes a couple $100, few $100 a month, but they have a business and that YouTube channel always was supplementary income to their real business. Or maybe they have Patreon, and Patreon was the way that they really had their main income, but the YouTube channel was the way for them to supplement that. And now they're like, well, now I'm not even going to get that little bit that I was getting. No, I'm not even going to get that anymore, which is kind of ridiculous, and people are all up in arms about that, all right? Now, in my opinion, there's positives and there's negatives to this entire situation. I want to cover it from both ends of the spectrum, okay? The positives are that for those of us who have made a living on YouTube and or make a living on YouTube and are now in hardship, meaning, like I've told you guys already on this podcast, YouTube ad revenues plummeted by 50% in 2017. Then they plummeted again in the fall, but no one noticed because we had the artificially inflated ad revenue because of the holiday gaming season or the holiday advertisement season in general. And now that January is hit, advertisements are even lower. So you're talking in 1 year, YouTube went from this much money to this much money, now to making this much money. How can you operate a business and make a living making 1/3 or 1/4 as much as you were just making a year ago? You can't. And I think what a lot of YouTubers are saying is, well, why is it that all these little channels that literally don't make a living on YouTube anyway are sucking up ad revenue? That should be going to the people who are more prolific, who work harder, who are dedicated themselves to making their YouTube channels their living. They should be getting the advertisements, not the little guys, okay? And so what YouTube is saying is, we acknowledge this. There's lots of people on YouTube who want to make a living, and now they can't anymore. So we're going to cut off all these thousands of smaller channels, and those ads are just going to naturally flow up to the channels that qualify for the advertisement criteria. So if this is true and it actually works properly, people who have established channels on YouTube should actually start to naturally see more advertisement revenue start coming in February, because actually by the end of February is when this is going to go into effect for all YouTube channels. Right now it's only going into effect for new YouTube channels, so really there's no effect positively for anyone yet, but it's all the channels that don't have these three criteria: the 10,000 total views, 4,000 hours watched in a year, and 1,000 subs. As of the end of February, they get cut off. So immediately, if this is true, starting in March, all YouTubers who actually qualify for those criteria should see an increase in advertisement revenue. So this means that maybe if some of your favorite YouTubers who've been struggling in the past year may actually be better off come March, if this all works correctly. And why I say if is because, quite frankly, folks, I have zero confidence that YouTube is going to do this properly. I really don't. Being a 10-year content creator on YouTube, they never implement changes properly. Ever. Never once have they implemented a system-wide change that worked properly. There's always problems, things that fuck up. I guarantee you're going to have people who are bigger YouTubers and now they get no ads. It's going to fuck, I guarantee you, the whole system will fall the fuck apart. It's, you know what I mean? I guarantee you it's going to happen. It's just going to happen. Now, on the flip side of this whole argument, the little guys are up in fucking arms about it. Like, this is bullshit. I worked my ass off, even though, no, I never got viral popularity. I never had a fucking search video that showed up in YouTube search that got thousands of views because YouTube picked it up and promoted it everywhere, you know. But I work my ass off. I'm a dedicated content creator, no matter what kind of content it is that you make. And I have hundreds of followers on the internet who love what I do and share what I do. I've got an active community that comment on my videos. It's a healthy community, and I want to keep growing that. And now you're going to take away the little bit of money that I was even able to make is doing this as a hobby from me, right? And a lot of people, quite frankly, are saying this is literally the opposite of what YouTube originally, the philosophy of what the website was created to do. If you guys aren't aware, just the name YouTube, the original creators of YouTube, was that you were supposed to create a television channel of whatever you're good at. Whether you sing, you dance, you're a creative writer, you make skits, you're a comedian, you're a daily vlogger, you talk about the news, you're a gamer, you're a person who does sports. No matter what your expertise was, you were supposed to create your own personalized channel on YouTube. Get an audience for it, right? Become known for what you do, and actually have, without needing any production value, any investment of money, or any kind of budget, you will be able to throw yourself out there to the world and hopefully get exposure, all right? And if you get the exposure, maybe eventually turn it into something bigger than that. Maybe make it your job or your occupation or your hobby, whatever it is. That was the actual philosophy behind YouTube as a website when it was created, okay? Now, with all the changes that YouTube have instituted, okay, it seems like that has completely gone by the wayside. First of all the changes that YouTube made to their search engines over the years, the little guy never gets seen anymore. Literally, the little guy's videos can never be found in YouTube search. You can't just go to YouTube search for a hot topic and find someone with only like 500 views on a video. It doesn't happen. All you see are the virally popular bullshit because all the algorithms and shit that they've changed. There's no way for the little guy's channel, television channel, to actually get exposure on YouTube anymore. They've changed the website so much it only caters to the big boys. So already philosophically behind the scenes, YouTube's changed it so that can't happen. But now you're telling the little guy, not only can you not get the exposure that you deserve, but now also you can't make money doing it. Even though if you have hundreds of people who like what you do, you're cut off too. So I can totally understand why there's a large group of people who are so angry about this change. I get it. For me, quite frankly, I don't care about getting maybe a little bit of extra ad revenue on my videos because my channel's been around, since 2010. And obviously, yes, my YouTube channel, DSP Gaming, abides by all those criteria. And yes, I'm going to still be, I might get increased ad revenue in March. Do I realistically believe that my ad revenue is going to go, whoa, and spike in March? Fuck no. Because YouTube's already lost so many major advertisers, it's never going to go back to the levels that it ever was. Okay? It doesn't matter with these little changes and tweaks that YouTube is doing. It's not going to positively affect that stuff at all. I guarantee you. Yes, well, first of all, naturally, ad revenue goes up in March anyway. So already we're going to see an increase. I predict maybe a 10% increase in ad revenue, if that, okay? But you already lost half. So instead of losing half, you only lose 40%. That's not enough to make a significant dent in anything, So I honestly don't think that this is going to be a good thing for anyone. I don't think it's going to benefit the big guys very much. I don't think it's going to hurt the little guys. It's another misstep by YouTube, not knowing what the fuck they're doing, not knowing how to run their website, not knowing how to run their business, not listening to feedback from the common person who would have told them, no, this is a bad idea, and just doing whatever the fuck they want. I'm sorry. Now, some people, the one opinion that I've heard out there is that, well, you know what? Good on YouTube, because you know what? Too many people who just barely put any effort into it are making money on it. And what we should do is not have that possible, but instead, people who really bust their ass to get to those criteria, to hit those milestones on their channel, then deserve to have advertisements on their videos. I understand that. I do understand people saying that, but you have to understand what kind of a perspective that was. There was a time, folks, when, channels couldn't get ads at all. Remember when I started on YouTube in 2008? From 2008 to early 2011, I didn't make one penny on any gameplay video that I put out. And by the way, I put out thousands of them. Hundreds, if not thousands of hours of gameplay for about 2 years of my life dedicated to doing it as a hobby before I ever made any money. And you may say, well, that's a perfect example, Phil, of wow, look, you really grew your channel and you built this network of people and viewers before you ever made money doing it. That's what other people should be forced to do now, okay? Okay, but I don't think it's fair to take away that opportunity for people who don't have aspirations to become huge. There may be people out there who literally all they want to do is have, 200, 300, 400 people watch what they do and have fun doing it and make a few extra bucks every month. Who's to say they shouldn't be allowed to do that for the expense of the giant asshole who makes these fucking clickbait videos, who fucking does, racially insensitive skits, who fucking shows suicidal, dead bodies hanging in a fucking forest in Japan? He gets more money now, right? At the expense of the little guy who actually loves what they're doing and has no aspirations to be a ginormous, immoral fucking piece of shit. They get hurt now. You see what I mean? Like, I can understand that philosophy. I totally can understand that philosophy of people who are angry at this change. So I see both sides of it. Realistically, are we going to be able to say YouTube's change is good or bad? No, we can't. We can't actually say that until we see what happens come, say, March, when eventually this is going to go into effect. Maybe it'll save YouTube. Maybe the people who couldn't make a living on YouTube, all of a sudden we all see a dramatic increase in income again. Great if that happens, but I don't like making money at the expense of others. I'm saying that again. I don't like making money at the expense of the success of others. I don't find it morally right that my channels will now make more money because YouTube decided to kick the little guys out. Who's to say that little guy isn't as dedicated as I am, but just because they didn't start doing it in 2008 like I did, that they don't deserve any kind of attention or popularity or making money doing it? That's bullshit. I don't agree with that at all. I really think this is stupid. And again, I think it's another misstep by YouTube. And it's just another reason, like I told you guys, if Amazon, if and when they ever make an on-demand video website and it launches, you're going to see all these people who got the shaft from YouTube getting the fuck out of there and moving over to a website that appreciates them. YouTube's just putting another nail in the coffin is all I'm saying. All right. I got a dollar tip, anonymous dollar tip. He says, I've seen a couple bigger YouTubers talking about this too. Their take was that when they were small enough to be below that criteria, it wouldn't have been a loss of maybe like $100 a year, and they weren't doing it for a living at that stage anyway. No, listen, And I understand that. I get that. But they're only talking from the perspective of a big YouTuber. What that proves is bigger YouTubers who say that literally have no idea how to come off their fucking high horse and riding high where they are and go down into the steps or the shoes of someone at the bottom who's just trying to come up. There are people out there who have zero aspirations to be a big YouTuber. They don't want to do it full time. They enjoy just doing this as a hobby and bringing in a few extra bucks, right? I make $200, $300, $400, $500 every couple of months on YouTube, and it's great for me because it's extra income in my pocket, and it's my hobby. I get to share with the hundreds of people who watch my stuff, and it's a lot of fun. So why shouldn't they be able to do that? Why did now they get penalized for the expense of the big motherfucker who's been complaining that they had a 50% dip in revenue over the past year? I get that. I can see that because I have the ability to see from someone else's perspective. Those big YouTubers don't. And that's why they're getting so much backlash. A lot of big YouTubers have been making these videos. Oh, these changes are a good thing. And then they get monstrous dislikes and nasty toxicity all over their video. Fuck you, you fucking greedy piece of shit. Go fuck yourself, because I had a little channel and now I get fucked because of this. So I just got 2 cheers from your boy Thump. He says, me and my wife both have growing YouTube channels, and we're being screwed by these new changes. The change basically puts us back at square one. Oh, he said the same thing twice. He accidentally cheered twice. See, I see that, and I agree, and I don't agree with these changes. I don't. I'm with you. I am with the little guy. I really am. I'm with the little guy. I don't agree with these changes, and I think that this bullshit, I almost feel the increased ad revenue I'm going to get in March is blood money. It's at the expense of the little guy. I don't want that. I don't want to step on the fucking little guy to make extra money for my channel. That's a horrendous practice. And if anything, again, it shows YouTube has completely lost their fucking way from what the business and website was supposed to be from the get-go. Okay? All right, I got one more news story. Then we're going to take a break. Then we're going to come back. I'm going to do the gaming schedule update. And then we're going to open up the show to Q&A. Okay? So, the final news story literally broke right before the stream started today. Ladies and gentlemen, Vince McMahon is bringing back the XFL. Oh, brother. I mean, first of all, if you don't know what this is, the XFL was meant to be an alternative sports network, an alternative sporting circuit created by, yes, World Wrestling Entertainment founder Vince McMahon. He did this in the 1990s, okay? What it was supposed to be was more smash mouth, more hard-hitting, uncensored. Keep in mind, this was the Attitude Era of wrestling, so they were trying to do more uncensored, adult-oriented stuff with wrestling, and they were going to try to do the same thing with football. They were going to cut out the pansy regulations and the penalties, less penalties, more hard-hitting football. We're going to have microphones on every player, so when they're in the huddle, you can hear the shit that they're saying. You know what I mean? So that's what it was supposed to be. It failed miserably. Now, I think the reason it failed miserably were a few reasons. Number one, I don't think anyone took it seriously because it was financed by Vince McMahon. He's a pro wrestler. Everyone knew pro wrestling, fake. XFL was supposed to be real, like an actual sporting event with competition and legitimate results. So how do you believe, or how do you even get behind that when the person who's financing it made all his money on a fictional sporting event? You know what I mean? I can understand that. And number two, in the 1990s, the NFL was doing great. The NFL, the National Football League, if you don't know what that is, it's American football, okay, was making ridiculous amounts of money. It was at a high in the 1990s. Everyone was loving American football, and you know what I mean? So it was like, to make a competitor to something that's doing really well is tough, okay? That would be like saying, I want to come out and be, a competitor to, let's be honest, to Twitch TV. I want to be a competitor to Twitch TV because I feel that Twitch TV does stuff wrong. Well, good luck making a live streaming website that's going to get any kind of attention because Twitch TV owns all the market share, right? It's very tough. So it failed. It launched. It lasted 1 season. It failed miserably. Ratings were terrible. No one was buying tickets to the thing. The arenas were empty. It failed miserably, and within 1 year, the whole thing was a terrible write-off, and Vince just went back and refocused on pro wrestling, and that was the end of it. No one ever thought we would hear of it again. Well, in this last year, if you guys aren't aware, again, if you don't live in the United States, you might not have heard this, there's been a lot of controversy around the National Football League because of the players who won't stand up for the national anthem, and basically now professional sports are becoming more political, especially with the Trump administration being in power now in America, and Trump being our president, and people not agreeing with that, and people standing up in protest of all this. So all this going on, people really feel that the NFL's been far too politicized. And if you actually look, NFL's profits and everything are way down this last season, like way down compared to what they're used to. And there's actually almost a panic mode amongst the NFL. Like, what are we going to do? We've got to get viewership back. We've got to get people back in seats. We got to get people buying merch again. Because right now they're not doing it because it feels like there's this big dichotomy amongst Americans. If you're politicized one way or the other, you either support or you can't support. And, you know, what's going on? So what Vince is doing is literally taking advantage of this political situation, this heightened political climate, and saying, in the XFL, there will be no cheerleading, there will be no bullshit, and every fucking player will stand up for the national anthem, period. And immediately, all those people who are, you know, very adamant of, again, a very more conservative line thinking are like, fuck, that sounds good to me. We don't have to watch NFL anymore and watch half the fucking players sitting down during the national anthem being disrespectful to us and the troops and everything. We get to watch people who actually want to be there because they want to fucking be there, not because it's for a paycheck, and they're going to be respectful of the country and everything. So immediately Vince has done what he does best. He's jumped on this bandwagon approach to what's hot right now, and he's making the XFL come back at a time when people are very, very critical of the NFL. Will it succeed? I don't know. Let's face it, folks. A lot of people didn't give Donald Trump a fucking rat's ass in hell that he was going to get voted into the presidency, and he's president, right? A lot of people right now are saying XFL failed in the 90s. This thing's going to fucking tank again. I think we're in a different climate now. I honestly do. I think that we have a divided country, more divided than ever before. We've got a large group of people who are literally looking for anything that's anti-left, anti-established, you know, in that perspective. And everyone knows Vince McMahon's a Republican, and he supports Trump. He used to have Trump on a show. So will we see a big leaning where all the people who are so upset and up in a tizzy about the NFL now watch the XFL? Even if XFL sucks, just in protest of the shit that's been going on with the NFL. Maybe. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. For me, I don't really care either way. I'm just a spectator of all this going on. So I'm just going to sit back and fold my arm, kick my feet up, and be like, man, I'm along for the ride. Let's see what happens with this. Are people actually going to watch it? Will it be any good? Will people watch it? Will people not watch it? What's going to happen with the NFL? You know, I'm very interested. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen. And I'll obviously have more information about this, you know, as we get closer to when this is. By the way, I forgot to mention 2020. It's not launching till 2020. Vince just announced this initiative, so you're talking at least 2 years till this thing gets off the ground. A lot can change in 2 years. If we've ever seen in politics, a lot can. In 2 years, the whole thing could flip on its head again. So we don't know what's going to happen in 2 years, but let's see. Okay, I got a couple shout outs to do. Actually, I have one shout out to do. Your boy Thumb did another 25-bit cheer. He says, the XFL is garbage. It's been gone for 17 years and nobody missed it. Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me. It's time for our second break. This break will last, again, if you're watching on live stream, it'll be about 15 minutes. If you're watching on YouTube, this will be the end of this part. Check out part 3, where I'm going to be running through the gaming schedule and doing a Q&A segment. All right. So thanks everyone for watching. Thank you so much for your support today so far. Really positive stuff. Thank you very much. I'll be back in a few minutes with the final segment of the Hate Live podcast. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you in a bit. Peace out.